Hey, hey,
Hey! How's it going? My name is Lewis.
My name is Robin. You've seen us before.
And welcome to our very first Bout That RV Life Live.
It has taken us a really long time to get the lighting so we aren't shining bright like diamonds in your face right now.
Yeah. How's the sound? Everybody hear the sound? Everything good?
It looks to me like it's probably loud.
Turn that down a little bit.
Can't do it. What does this one do? Oh, I betcha. What if I do this? Does that help?
There we go.
Nobody wants to tell us how
Yeah,
the
nobody
sound
wants to
is.
tell us how we sound.
All of the 4 people currently watching.
Well, we'll go ahead and kind of just get started. You know, this live will be available for people to view. So it is something that I do want to kind of dive into and get into. Today we're going to talk about, the top 7 questions that we get asked all the time about our RV rental business. And, first things first is, I want to welcome back those that have subscribe to our channel. We definitely appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And, this YouTube venture isn't easy and takes a lot of work.
It's an adventure.
Yeah. Takes a lot of work and study and diligence and trying to figure out, how we do this and all that stuff. So we just definitely appreciate you guys' patience and, we'll continue to keep working on content and just put more and more stuff out. But first things first, like who is, About That RV Life? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Who are we? We are the Valdezes, as we already said, Lewis and Robin, and we are parents to 3 children that live here in our house with us. We have 2 other kids that are out of the house and off doing their own things now, but we have 3 here in the house with us, and we live in Central Washington State. It is desert here, although looking outside right now you wouldn't know that because we've got snow all over the ground and have had for weeks now. And our RV rentals service the Central Washington area. We go all the way up to Steamboat Rock State Park. We get a lot of rentals over at the Gorge. In fact, we've been looking at our calendar here the last few days, and we've been getting lots of reservations for the upcoming camping season, and most of them are at the Gorge right now, which is exciting. Concert season is coming.
Yep.
Oh, she said lost sound. Is that true? Did we still lose sound?
Click on that over there.
Sorry, you guys.
No.
Keyframe frequency. Something.
Still shows we're pretty good.
Yeah. I'm going to keep talking.
Mom has son. Okay.
Oh.
Still good. Okay. Thanks, Buckner Destinations, RV Rentals. Appreciate that. So,
anyway, we're excited for the upcoming camping season, and we started renting campers because we had purchased one and we're trying to find places to go camping and realized, oh my gosh, we should have booked campsites last year if we wanted to go camping this year. But saw somebody advertising on RV Share and thought, we could try that. And so we listed our first rental on RV Share, got a reservation that night. I'm like, okay.
Really quick.
A few weeks later, we ended up deciding, okay, we're going to buy a second one, see how it goes. Bought a second one, and it was rented out for the rest of the season as well. And so just before winter, we purchased a third RV. It has only gone on a couple of trips so far, but we are excited to see what 2022 looks like and look forward to probably adding additional RVs here in the upcoming season and the upcoming years.
Yeah, a couple of things too, to go along with our rental business is as we've kind of grown, our social media presence, I guess. We're looking at some merchandise, some shirts, some swag, stuff like that we're definitely, that's the Layman's Cup.
As you can see, we've got shirts and swag, but they're not our own.
But if so for some of you that have subscribed, like I don't know if you saw, I just uploaded our current logo, and that's going to be going on some t-shirts and beanies and stuff like that we hopefully will get out here pretty soon. I've got a website about the domain name, so we're just looking to put some of that stuff together real soon. So, and that's the thing, with who we are. I mean, we are entrepreneurs at heart. We've always been entrepreneurs. I've always been that way. Always trying to figure out ways to earn, extra income just to provide for my family and just, keep my wife really kind of at home. She's been a stay-at-home mom, and just want to keep it that way. So
I like it.
Anyway, you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Bout That RV Life. Or you can click on the links. We got them all in the description here, and all also on our YouTube channel. So let's get into this, right? 7 most common questions that we're always asked. Number 1, when we first started getting involved with this rental business, everybody was going, gosh, aren't you guys concerned like they're going to thrash your RV?
And honestly, if we're being really honest, when Lewis first was like, hey, we should do this, we should try it out, and he got it listed, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't handle it. It's going to be so stressful. I will never trust anyone. And I was really worried about that too.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I was really concerned too. So once we kind of got past that first one, which was at the Gorge, it was a very nice couple. And they even let us bring our RV back like an extra early a night. And I think it was like 10 o'clock, right? They're like, hey, if you want to come pick it up, it's totally okay with us. And I was like, wow. And they cleaned it better than like we would have cleaned it. Like, they took care of it. And that was just a big relief for us, because we were like, okay, these guys are going to take care of it like their own. First of all, like, they're, we've got $500 deposit, in some cases $750. And they want to get it back. I'd hope so, right? And so we haven't had anybody where we've had to actually take any money back from their deposit or anything like that to repair anything or anything like that. So definitely, definitely been blessed in that area. So are we worried now? Sure, you're gonna have people that they're gonna live in it. We tell them, live in it like it's yours. Be comfortable in it. It's all good. Don't worry about damaging anything, but also don't be stupid.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And at this point, I think we are past the point of being concerned about somebody thrashing it and trashing it. We have insurance to cover things if it's ever anything ridiculous. And we just are at the point now where we know that it's going to get used. There's going to be wear and tear, and it just comes with the territory. It's part of loaning your stuff out, right? You hope people are going to return it in at least as good a condition as you sent it out, but if they don't, they don't, and that's kind of all part of it.
Yep. So that was the number 1 question. I still get that till today, Number 2, do you actually make any money? I literally just got asked this the other day by a pretty successful RV salesman, and he's like, so let me ask you a personal question. He's like, do you actually make money? I said, well, yeah. I mean, I've got 3 campers here, Well, I get into some numbers, probably not real specifics, but I will tell you with our first camper, we started at the end of July, and kind of middle to end of July, and up until the end of the season, we made well over $6,000. So extra side money, it was phenomenal. It was perfect. And then I just kind of started getting like a vision and kind of going, okay, if I duplicated this, if I could duplicate this over 10, 20, right, 50 vehicles, like, could you imagine how much money we make? Of course, we're not there yet, but being able to find 2 or 3, other campers for us to be able to go out there and rent, it is lucrative, and it is going to be very lucrative coming this season. So I'm real excited about it. There's been repairs. There's been certain things that we've needed to do. Of course, you got gas, you've got payments, you got all sorts of stuff, right? But our goal is to kind of trickle a lot of those lower balances that we have and get those paid off so that we can actually start really turning a profit. But yeah, our goal is to eventually get to where we've got a very large fleet, and where it's automated, to where we've got I've got hired drivers, I've got people that can deliver for us, and just anybody can do the marketing, all that stuff, because really I've got a full-time job myself that I still need to be 100% at, and then I don't want it to disrupt our household either, so number 3,
do you let people pick them up?
Yeah, do you let people pick them up? I don't know why people ask this question. Like, it's kind of like, it gets uncomfortable when you actually have people that are coming to your house to pick up your camper, and you're like, yeah, that hitch is not going to work, all these different types of things. But, You know, we've had a couple that are three actually that have taken them to WSU down to the Cougar Stadium, and they've done some tailgating with them and stuff, but they brought them back immaculate. Yeah. You know, one of them left some underwear in it and a ring, but you know, for the most part, it was fine. You know what I mean? And as long as they've got the right truck, which I think it was pretty funny when our first renter that rented out our Grand Design, my wife was like, "What?" He brought kind of a super powered Tahoe, but the thing sounded like beastly, like it was very strong. So we were like, "Holy smokes!" But you know what? It got there and he got it back in safe condition, and it was great. So that was
from my perspective, it is more stressful for me when people come to pick them up than when we take them and deliver them and get them set up ourselves. What my experience has been is that when they come to pick it up, they're like, okay, I'm going to get there, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to go. And what I want to do is take some time and walk them through the whole thing, make sure they understand setup, make sure they understand tear down, make sure they understand all of the systems and how to really care for the unit the way that they should, so that they're going to have the best experience and so that it's going to come back in good condition. So it's different. It's not my favorite way to do it. However, the more campers we have to rent, the more people are going to be renting them at the same time and on the same weekends. Like, we already have a couple weekends coming up this summer where I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know how we're going to get them all out, because they're all deliveries and we only have one delivery vehicle right now. So we're going to have to do some figuring on how to get all that stuff working. But I prefer it that way, just because I have the peace of mind of knowing that it got there in one piece and that it got taken home exactly the right way. And whatever they do with it in the interim, that's their business, and they're gonna figure it out. But I know that it got there. We walked them through how everything works, just exactly how we want to, and then I picked it up and it got home the way that I would want it to.
Yeah, that setup can be a little bit tricky sometimes, so we like to kind of be in control of that. So we're going to take a quick break real quick and see if there's any questions.
To drink from our layman's coffee cups.
Yeah, do you guys got any questions or anything like that? And if not, we'll just continue to keep going. All right.
There is a minor delay, so if they're going to have questions, it's going to take a couple seconds before we see them.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. And we could also take this opportunity to tell you that we love our Layman's Cup merch, because Kemp is watching, or at least was at one point. And they sent us these shirts. They're a long sleeve t-shirt. The camera angles is really tripping me out. It's a long sleeve t-shirt with a hood. So they call this their hoodie. I can't get my hood.
Here, I'll put mine on. It's easier.
Look how pretty I look in my hood. And they also sent us, and we were really surprised because we weren't expecting that, these fantastic little tumblers. They say Layman's Cup on them, and they came with a straw, which Lewis was extra excited about.
But I haven't used it yet, so.
But here I am. And we just always want to take opportunities to shout them out, because every time they have an opportunity, they shout us out and tell people about us. So if you haven't seen or listened to their podcast yet, you haven't seen their YouTube page, go check them out. Give them a like, subscribe to their YouTube page. Hit the bell so you always know when new stuff is coming out from them. They're highly entertaining, and they are men of God. They love Jesus, and they're seeking the truth. That's their motto, their logo, their catchphrase. Seeking the truth one sip at a time. They're always drinking coffee. The Layman's Cup. You get it now, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we'll jump into the second part, the last four here. And how does the insurance work? This is a really good question, because in the beginning I was always like, oh man, I don't know. You know, my wife. I guess you could just talk about that.
Sure.
You know, with wheelbase and everything that we're doing.
I am sitting right here. I am. So what's really cool is that through platforms like RV Share and Outdoorsy, even though they take a cut of the profits, it's totally worth it, because they also deal with all the issues. So if a renter has an issue with anything, RV Share or Outdoorsy deal with all the issues, and they handle the customer service end of everything. And so that's fantastic. All you do is provide the RV. obviously it costs you on the back end because you don't get to keep all that money, but it's risk-free, it's totally headache-free, all that stuff. But we started having a lot of people that were renting again from us when they had rented before, and then they were contacting us again. And we wanted to be able to turn those people into private renters so that we didn't have to go through the middleman. We didn't have to lose out on that fee. And so we started shopping around trying to see what we could do. And what we found was an opportunity a company, I guess, called Wheelbase. And Wheelbase actually partners with Outdoorsy. Everything that you get with Outdoorsy, you get with Wheelbase. However, if you have someone rent, so on our website, lrvaldezrentals.com. Wow, sorry, that was brain party. You can go on and you can click on the links and you can rent directly from us. And when you do that, you'll go through a checkout process that will have you select insurance and different things. And that insurance is coming from Wheelbase. And it's the same insurance that you would get if you were renting through Outdoorsy. The difference is that when you rent it directly through us, we end up being the middleman that has to deal with any kind of discrepancies. If we do have to make an insurance claim, we're the ones that actually have to deal with the insurance companies and all of that. And we haven't had to do it yet, so I can't tell you much about whether or not it's a headache or if they're really great at it or even how it works at all. But we are very excited for the opportunity to be able to rent directly to our customers and not have to be going through the different platforms and losing out on those profits. So I'm not sure that I even answered the question that was asked, but we feel pretty comfortable and confident in our...
Most people know how insurance works, right?
Yes,
you have an issue, there's a claim, there's a lot of things that they've got to go through a process and stuff like that. Thank God I haven't had to deal with any of that my whole life. But yeah, so... Pretty cool company like Wheelbase for us to be able to, like she said, we make extra. It's a few hundred extra bucks that we make by just being able to offer that outside of those two major platforms and stuff. So.
And I feel like I shouldn't say this because they did mention to us that it might be changing in the near future, but right now Wheelbase is completely free to users, so we don't pay anything to Wheelbase. They do get a cut if the renter comes from Outdoorsy, if it's a referral through Outdoorsy, which I still don't know how that's going to work. They've said that Outdoorsy it'll kick us more referrals to our direct website somehow. Anyway, they still will get a kickback there, and they get a kickback on the insurance portion of it, but we don't pay them anything out of pocket for the service, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and we actually earn a little bit of commission from the insurance that we sell, so which is kind of cool, an extra bonus. So that's kind of how our insurance works. Let's see, where are we at here? Number 5.
Second number 2.
Yeah, second number 2. Number 5. This is kind of I don't know why people ask this question. And I got it in here, and I hope people don't take offense.
We're going to answer it because people ask it, but...
They always ask, do you rent to older people? And I'm like, I guess if you're not an RVer, right, or you don't go out camping, like you must think that these guys that rent these are like retired old folk. I'm like, okay. We've rented out to everybody. We've had a 20-something-year-old couple that rented from us, and they took it to the sand dunes, which we were a little concerned about, but it ended up working out perfect. Those guys treated that thing really, really well. I was surprised because it was just full. It's a sandy area, so I thought the whole thing was just going to be covered in sand. But
we were real worried.
Yeah, but it was fine. We rent to just about anybody. Of course, there is when we're looking at who is wanting to rent this. We actually kind of think about things a little bit. Are they super young, right? Have they ever used a generator before? Have they ever do they know if they've got a campsite? Is it full hookup? Like, do they know any of that stuff, right? Safety things, because if they don't, what we have found is the younger generation, when you kind of bring that camper to them, they literally have no idea how to use it, what to do in case of an issue. We had a younger couple, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like they kind of knew what they were doing. They took it to Wazoo. They were tailgating, and like They didn't know that things have had a breaker that they need, if something tripped, like just certain things like that. So, we've kind of learned that we're kind of having to coach people in this initial process just to make sure it's comfortable for us and then it's comfortable for them. You know what I mean? We want the experience to be well. And I'm not demeaning or condescending or anything like that, because quite honestly, I'm learning a lot of this stuff.
Full disclosure, before last April, we didn't know anything about campers. We have learned a lot this last year.
A ton. And through trial and error. And I kind of wanted to just go through and make sure that, we learned the hard stuff and we went through it, and that if it ever, at any time happened out when somebody was renting our camper, we'd be able to speak to it, so. Yeah. And
so do we rent to older people? I suppose that depends on your definition of older. We haven't rented to any old people yet, but I think that has more to do with the types of campers that we have. All three of our campers are bunkhouses, so they're suitable for families. They're suitable for smaller groups of adults, and it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense for just a couple to take it out by themselves necessarily. So I think because of the types of RVs we have, the demographics that they attract are just younger families and things like that. So
yeah,
the answer is we would if they wanted to.
Yes. Number 6. Wait, no, number 5.
6.
Oh no, yep, 6. Sorry.
Second number 3.
Do we rent to festivals? Right. So this honestly, so I had, when I first put my profile, I think up on Outdoorsy, and asked that question, do you want to rent out to festivals? And in my mind, I was thinking, so tailgating, stuff like that. And I said, no, I marked no on that profile, just because, you never know what's going to happen in those places. But today, absolutely, every one of them, we take a portion of deposit, and sometimes it's up to $750, and I think it's just like anything else. If you're going to a campground, people could vandalize it. They could steal stuff. If you're going to a venue like the Gorge, which honestly, 80% of our renters come from the Gorge. Yeah. Lots of them. So we're always taking it in places where there's going to be a lot of drunk people, a lot of people doing drugs. And it's a concern, but at the same time, people take care of stuff. They lock the doors. We encourage them to lock the doors, certain things like that. So festivals are okay. You want to say anything about festivals? Yeah,
I think, I have heard a lot of horror stories about people sending their campers to the Gorge and, being really worried. But, ours went to Watershed last year. It went to, what's the Beyond Wonderland? It's been to lots of them that you would expect there would be lots of rowdiness and lots of craziness. And we have never had an issue. And, that might be because we like to keep our deposits fairly high, and so we're attracting the kind of people that are going to take care of them more and not be partying as hard. I really don't know, but we just haven't had a problem. And so until the day comes, and it probably will come, when something crazy happens and we get it back and we're like, oh, I wish we wouldn't have done that, we're probably going to continue doing it. And even after that, we probably will still continue doing it, just because it's a numbers game, right? The more you're on the road, the more likely you're to get in an accident. The more festivals you rent to, the more likely you're going to have something crappy happen. Yeah. And that's just part of the game.
It is what it is, right?
Yep.
So,
this is question 7.
This is number 7. And we've got a bonus question after this one, too. Number 7 is, do you stay busy? That's a good question, I think, for a person who's actually looking to, rent out their camper. We definitely do. I think it has a lot to do with location, right? I think us being so close to the Gorge, and there's Mardon down here, which is big fishing. There's a lot of hunting around here, which we really have. Well, I guess we have had some fishers down down there. But just, we have the Columbia River down here. So for us, we're kind of central to a lot of different types of things that are going to happen out there where people want to rent RVs and stuff. So we stay fairly busy. I'd like to be busier during the winter. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it is what it is. And I think next year we're going to put our campers away probably the whole month of November, December, and in January. So do you want to say anything on that?
Just because my heart can't take it. It's stressful. The winter months are stressful, and especially for us, just being like we're new to RVs as well, and so not knowing all the different things that can happen, we aren't prepared to prepare you for what to expect, and I don't like that.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but as far as do we stay busy during the season last year, we really did. It looks like this upcoming season we're going to be as busy or busier just because we've got more campers. And so I don't think being busy is something we're going to be worried about.
Yeah, for sure. So bonus question. Do you have time to clean them all, or do you have to clean them all the time? Sorry.
We can't even read.
Yeah. Do you have to clean them all the time? I mean, we get that. Like, so as we talk about our business and kind of our schedule and how we've been busy, like we get a lot of people that say, "Gosh, it sounds like you got to clean those all the time. You got to clean those all the time." So.
Well, one of the things that's been awesome is that we try to make it really clear to our renters that we expect it to come back in the same condition that we gave it to them in, and that is always clean. And so when they come back, most of the time I need to do, with COVID and all the crazy things and people being extra worried about germs, we do a deeper clean than I probably need to. But it's able to be really quick because everything comes back clean already. So it's already, like I need to do a quick sweep. I need to wipe down counters and handles and all of those things and just make sure everything is disinfected. And otherwise, that's pretty much it. And so do we have to clean them all the time? We have to clean them every time they come back and before they go out. But otherwise, it's really...
Yeah, and if you guys are interested in that, I'll actually put a card right up above here, and you guys can take a look at what our process looks like. My wife did a really good video on our process that we take to clean our vehicles and stay within the COVID protocol. Shoot, I said it. I shouldn't have said it. This video is going to get flagged now.
Oh, why?
At YouTube. Anyway, the protocols and making sure that it's sanitary and all that stuff. But anyway... you guys can check that out if you'd like. So, and then this last portion here, we'll just open it up if there's any questions. Anybody wants to say hi or anything like that. We'll give it a couple minutes here and we'll close it out.
And if you want to tell me how pretty my hair looks, I will not be mad because you're right.
She worked really hard on that.
I really did today. It took way too long.
That's so awesome.
You guys are doing great. What are your thoughts on expanding to Class C? So Class C would be the smaller drivables, right? And we have looked at those a number of times. We talked about purchasing one in the fall. And I think we were really close to wanting to pull the trigger.
Thanks, Mark.
And... we're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Not because we don't think it's a great idea. We do think it's a great idea. I just think with the way that I get nervous about even having people pick them up and take them out, the thought of having someone have to drive it different places, and now they're having to navigate towns and they're having it just stresses me out.
Yeah.
So I think we're just not quite there comfort-wise yet.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that we've talked about and that we are considering in the near future.
Yeah. We were, like she said, we were really, really close. And I just got to thinking too about the engine. You know, like having to deal, like it's one thing to deal with the camper, right? The batteries and the electrical system and all this stuff. But then you throw a whole engine on top of that, and it was just kind of like, man, you know, I don't think we're ready right now to kind of take on that, right?
Thank you.
But good question, Buckner. Destinations RV Rentals, appreciate that. But it's definitely, we want to, we really do. I think we want one for ourselves too, just for our own personal use.
Well, they're also really cool. When we've been looking at them, you know, they come with like tables and stuff that are already stored for your outdoor dining and things like that. So there's just very little you even have to think about. Everything is self-contained. The generators are usually built in. It's just a lot of stuff that's different than what a pull behind is like. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
But I'm not a mechanic, and neither is this guy.
Not even close.
but I love him.
All right, guys. Well, again, I want to remind you, please follow us on all of our, thank you, appreciate that. All of our social media. We've got Instagram, we've got TikTok, we got of course, our YouTube. I just set up a Twitter today, and I added that to the whatchamacallit. But yeah, we're just trying to grow our social media presence, and I'm really excited about the summer. A lot of the content I want to share is it's fun going to those concerts in those venues, and I want to do some vlogging and stuff like that about the fun adventures that we have there. And of course, I'll mix in a little bit of how-tos and certain things that keep us out of trouble, right? So
yeah.
Anyways, if you like this, please give this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. And as always, happy camping. Bye.